The Fall of the House of Usher summary. A childhood companion of Roderick Usher, who has not seen him years, is summoned to the gloomy house of Usher to comfort his sick friend. The decade mentioned stand on the edge of a time, and its fungus grow and dearie Roderick and his twin Madeline are the only surviving members of the family, and both suffer serious physical and nervous malady. Roderick entertains his friend with curious musical and poetic improvisation, indicating his morbid taste by his choice of reading. Madeline, in a catalytic trance, is thought to be dead, and her body is placed in the family vault. During a storm, Roderick is overcome by a severe nervous agitation, and his friend read aloud from a medieval romance, whose horrifying episode coincide with strange sounds from outside the room. Finally, Madeline appears enshrouded, and she and her brother fall dead together. The friend rushes from the house, and as he looks back in the moonlight, sees the whole house of Usher split asunder and sink into the tarn. Genre. The story The Fall of the House of Usher belongs to the Gothic fiction. There is a sentient house, an underground tomb, a dead body, and dark, a stormy night. All of these feature a tales at Gothic fiction. Supernatural Gothic is one of the subgenre of Gothic fiction. In the supernatural Gothic, various and strange happenings can be attributed to the supernatural happening. Moreover, the inexplicable disease of the mind and body in Roderick Usher and Madeline Usher show the story belong to the genre of Gothic or horror fiction. The Fall of the House of Usher plot. The tale opens with the unnamed narrator arriving at the house of his boyhood friend, Roderick Usher, having received a letter from him in a distant part of the country complaining of an illness and asking for his help. Although Poe wrote this story before the invention of modern psychology science, Roderick's symptoms can be described according to its terminology. They include a form of sensory overload known as hyperesthesia and acute anxiety. It's revealed that Roderick's twin sister, Madeline, is also ill and falls into cataleptic dead-life trance. The narrator is impressed with Roderick's paintings and attempts to cheer him by reading with him and listening to his improvised musical composition on the guitar. Roderick sings The Haunted Palace, then tells the narrator that he believes the house he lived in to be sentient, and that the sentient arise from the arrangement of the machinery and vegetation surrounding it. Fall of the House of Usher theme. In The Fall of the House of Usher, Poe tries to explore the nature of humanity. The story focuses on several interrelated themes, namely death, isolation, and madness. This is why he is all the time looking and thinking, speaking and death, isolation, madness, and violence. The Fall of the House of Usher setting. The setting is referred to by the narrator as House of Usher, to refer to both physical structure of the house and the last of the Usher race. Roderick and Madeline are the last of the Usher family. Poe being by description and continues with description to the extent that the whole story becomes a descriptive account of the mental breakdown of Roderick. Poe focused on setting that had many descriptions and details such as the dark, gloomy, and done place in the story. What he desired is to present a psychological analysis of the lives of that strange family. Everything in the house is breakdown, even the mentality of its owner. The tone of the story, The Fall of the House of Usher, is deliberate. It is a terrifying story. The narrator of the story is the center of the strange part of story. However, an important point should be kept in mind that the story is narrated in retrospect. That is why the deliberate tone the story is not compromised by the frantic mania of a terrified narrator. Character Roderick Usher. He is the owner of the Usher estate. He is the last surviving male member of Usher family. He acts as a twin of his sister, Madeline. He illustrated himself as a mind to her body and suffered from the mental counterpart of his sister's physical illness. Madeline Usher. She is the twin sister of Roderick's. She is suffering from mysterious illness, catalepsy. When the narrator discovers that she is the twin sister of his friend, it points out the outsider's relationship of the narrator to the house of Usher. Unnamed narrator. He is the boyhood friend of Roderick's. Roderick's contacted him when he was suffering from emotional and mental distress. He doesn't know much about the house of Usher and is the first outsider to visit the house in many years. Writing style. The writing style of the short story is ornate and rhythmic. Edgar Allan Poe is known for his melodramatic markup. The fall of the house of Usher indeed bear the mark of this authorial stamp. The story is widely admired for its nearly poetic rhetoric. For example, the first sentence contains the phrase, singularly dairy tract of country. The length and weight of the wine sounds are in contrast with the hard and cutting C sound in the next two sentences. Moreover, the last sentence also contains rhythmic style as